right, so hello everyone and welcome back to the second live cooking workshop. So if you weren't here last week with the first workshop, I will quickly introduce myself again. So my name is Emma van Dan and with my own business, My Health Target, I will be delivering a live cooking workshop every Wednesday this month at 12 here on this YouTube channel together with YCA Sandwell. So my aim with these workshops is to demonstrate a few healthy recipes and hopefully inspire you in trying something different as well. So with today's workshop, I'm going to be making egg muffins, and they're quite healthy as they are really low in fat. They have plenty of vegetables. There's some salad with it as well. So hopefully I can inspire you in trying something different to do with eggs. So before we start with the workshop, I want to make sure that you've read the health and safety documents that I've attached in the description below in this YouTube channel, just to make sure that you are aware of like some health and safety things when you are cooking, because obviously you're working with hot equipment, with knives, and just to make sure that you keep yourself safe along the workshop, because I cannot really see you or interact with you that much. But if you have any questions, you can always put this in the chat box, or if you have any comments or questions about healthy lifestyle in general, you can always put that in the chat box and I will get back to you along the way with the workshop. So today will be about lunch, and what I'm going to use today for the muffins is enough for 3 people. So I'm going to be using 6 eggs. I'm going to use spring onion. So you can use 1 big one or 2 small ones like I'm doing. I got 1 red bell pepper. And I got a big mushroom. If you got smaller ones, try to have like 2 or 3 of those to have roughly the same amount. I have some grated cheese. So I went for 60 grams, which is enough because we're just going to sprinkle it over the muffins. You don't need that much. And for the herbs, I'm going to keep it simple, but you can always add a bit more vegetables if you want to. I'm going to use some chili flakes, some paprika powder, and some pepper, but feel free to use any other herbs or fresh herbs. It can be really nice. And if you have any other vegetables, you can use that as well. Like with egg muffins, you can basically use anything, like frozen peas or other frozen vegetables are really nice in this recipe as well. So feel free to experiment in a way that you like the muffins the most. So I have made this recipe before with other people, and the feedback that I got from them is that their kids tend to like it as well, because it looks quite fancy and it's a way of just adding a few more vegetables in their diet as well. So what I will be using is these silicone muffin shapes, but you can use a muffin tin as well if you want to. And if you don't have any of these materials, you can make like small omelets in a frying pan or a big omelet and slice it into pizza slices. You can do basically whatever you want with it. What I really find about these muffins as well is that it's quite nice to bring along in social events as well. So when we're able to gather again, this is a nice thing to bring along as well as a snack. You can use it for breakfast as well. And when we are going to social events, tend to have a lot of unhealthy snacks there as well, like deep fried foods, foods that are really high in salt, fat, or sugar. And these ones are actually quite healthy. So maybe it's something you want to try out. So for the salad, I'm going to keep this very simple as well. I will have some mixed bistro salads. I have some cucumber and cherry tomatoes. I will be using some feta cheese and pumpkin seeds as well. And I will add for the dressing a little bit of olive oil and half a lemon. So with this dressing, it's a little bit healthier than the dressings that we get from the supermarket, as they can be really high in fat, as they use mayonnaise, for example, or hidden sugars. You don't really know what's in there. So when you make your own dressing, you know what is going in there, and you can make it a little bit more healthy. Okay, so we're gonna start with chopping up the vegetables. So make sure they are washed, hands are washed, and your equipment is clean. So I'm gonna chop up the spring onion first. So I'm gonna make this in very tiny, small rings. I'm gonna chop up all the vegetables really small, as these muffins will turn out quite small as well. So. And as you have noticed, there are quite a lot of different vegetables on this table today. So with the muffins, you probably have 2 or 3 muffins per person. And it will give you roughly 1 portion of vegetables in total. And a portion of vegetables would fit in your hand, like a handful of vegetables. And then you also have a salad with it as well. So it's a salad. It's quite fluffy and light. So a portion of salad would be like 2 handfuls. So next one is the pepper. Some people tend to cut the top right off, but then you're actually missing some of the pepper that you can use. So I'm gonna show you how I would do it. I'm gonna cut like a quarter out of it. So I'm gonna show it to you in a second. So I'm just gonna cut around the stem of the pepper. And then it's gonna look like this. So you see the square, and then I can pull the stem out, and I will take out all of the seeds like that as well. So. And I got here the seeds, quite simple. You can take out the rest of the seeds, you can shake it. And your pepper is ready to go. So I'm gonna cut my pepper in half, just to make sure that I got a flat surface. Makes it a bit easier to cut up the pepper. And I'm going to slice it into stripes. And these stripes I'm going to cut up in small pieces as well. Make sure that when you are slicing your vegetables, you're using that claw technique, what I showed last week as well, just to make sure you're not accidentally cutting into your fingers and your thumb is behind those fingers as well. So some of you have participated in my healthy lifestyle workshop last month. And we were talking about 5 a day as well. So some of you already are familiar with 5 a day, but if you're not, 5 a day basically means having your 5 portions of fruit and vegetables on a daily basis. So ideally, it is 2 pieces of fruit and 3 portions of vegetables. And it's to ensure that you have enough nutrients like vitamins, fibers, and all these nutrients help you with maintaining a healthy body, healthy mind. Sometimes we tend to think of health as something physical, like a healthy body, but health also means like a healthy emotional well-being, healthy social well-being, and having a nice balance in them as well. And when you're eating the right foods, all the healthy foods, so your 5 a day, not too many processed foods, will help you in maintaining a healthy body, but also a healthy mind, closely linked with each other. So it's getting pretty colorful in here. Next one is a mushroom. So some people ask, like, do I have to wash a mushroom with water? You don't have to. If there's a little bit of sand on them, you can use a bit of kitchen paper to clean it off. So to make the mushroom a little bit more stable, because there's a stem in the middle, I tend to push it so the stem breaks, and then you've got a very stable surface. So we'll be slicing this up in small stripes as well. And then the slices, chop them up in small pieces too. When you're making egg muffins, you don't really want them to be too chunky. So if you were wondering how big a portion would look like when it comes to vegetables, any fresh, frozen or tinned vegetables would be like a handful. So roughly a handful of mushrooms would be a portion of vegetables, a handful of peppers. And they all count, regardless if they're tinned or frozen, they all count towards your 5 a day. Okay, so I got here all of my vegetables. So you can see that's quite a nice amount. And I will be adding the eggs next. So when you're handling with eggs, be careful because they're raw. So make sure your hands are clean before and after you're using raw eggs, and that you're also replacing your equipment, because you don't want to contaminate any other food, like the salad, for example, with raw egg. So be careful with that. So we'll be adding all 6 of the eggs. I'm using large ones. So if you're using small eggs, you might want to add an extra one. Or if you don't have extra eggs, you can also add a little bit of milk or soy milk into it as well, just to increase the volume a bit more without egg. So let's say 50 ml would be enough. So I got all of my eggs in here, and I'm going to mix it with a fork so that all the egg yolks are broken. Just make sure that the egg and the vegetables are mixed in one color, one mixture. So it's starting to look like this, if you can see that well. I don't dare to tip it too far. And then I will be adding my herbs as well. So feel free on how many and how much herbs you want to use. I'm going to do roughly a teaspoon of powdered paprika. I'm gonna do some pepper. And just a few sprinkles of chili flakes. So, I'm gonna give that another mix. Okay, so make sure that your oven is warmed up at 180 degrees or gas mark 4, depending on what you have. And you can already get the muffins ready. So I will be using these silicone muffin shapes. I really love these because you can reuse them. They're really easy to wash as well. But you can use paper ones as well if you have some of those in the house, or a muffin tin. If you're using a muffin tin, I would add just a little bit of oil on them so it doesn't stick. But with these silicone ones, you don't really need to use any oil. Okay, so I'm quickly going to grab a spoon just to make sure I don't spill any of my mixture. So I'm going to keep all my equipment at one plate so I can bring that to the kitchen later on. And I will be getting a new chopping board and a new knife for the salad, just to prevent cross-contamination. So I'm going to fill these ones up with the egg mixture. It might be that you cannot fill up all 12 of them, which is fine because you will still get like 2 or 3 per person in that way. If you feel like you don't have enough, once again, you can add a little bit of milk into the mixture too. If you missed the workshop of last week, we were talking about breakfast. So if you missed that one, it's now published on the YCA YouTube channel. So you can always rewatch it if you want to, and feel free to share as well. And if you subscribe to the YCA YouTube channel, you get notifications as well of the cooking workshops, but also other projects that the YCA is doing. So I know that some of you are cooking live along with me, and some of you are just watching the demonstration to cook later, which is perfectly fine. This is what the workshop is for. But if you wanted to prepare and get all the ingredients ready to join the cooking live, the ingredients are always posted a week before on the YCA Sandwell Facebook page. So you can visit that as well, just so you can get your groceries sorted as well. And once again, if you got any comments or questions, just pop it into the chat box and I will get back to you along the cooking workshop. So my mixture is just enough for 12 muffin shapes. Just spreading out the last little bits. Okay. All right. So, just gonna quickly show you how mine are looking like. So you see that the vegetables are equally divided. It looks quite colorful as well. So I'm going to be popping that into the oven. I'm going to wash my hands as well and get some new equipment. So I will be back in a second. It's just when you're working with raw egg or meat, chicken, fish, you want to make sure that you don't cross-contaminate it with any other raw food. So. Okay, so while your muffins are in the oven, so keep it there for 20 to 25 minutes at 180 degrees or gas mark 4. Make sure after 15 minutes roughly that you do keep a check on them just to see how they're getting on. If you see like a nice light brown color on top of it, it's almost ready. Just make sure that it's cooked thoroughly. So you can do that by pinching a fork or a knife in the center, and if it comes out without any egg attached to it, it's finished. The good thing as well, when you're taking them out and they're resting for another 10 minutes, it will continue cooking in the middle as well. So next one, the salad. I'm going to chop my vegetables up. So you can do that in the way you prefer. Chunky, small, half moon, small blocks. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna do mine in small blocks. And when the recipe is ready, maybe you feel like something is missing, like something with carbs. So you can add like a wholemeal chapati or a wholemeal pita, slice of bread, or what is also very nice is some roasted sweet potato. It can be really tasty as well if you put them in the oven. Or maybe instead of this salad, you want to make a couscous salad. It can be really nice too. So you can really give it your own swing to it. Next one, tomatoes. You can keep them whole if you got cherry tomatoes or half them. Got a big tomato, you can do small pieces like the cucumber. Just noticed I forgot the cheese. So if they're not in the oven yet, sprinkle each muffin with a little bit of cheese as well. So, and then I'm gonna add some feta cheese too. So I'm gonna use roughly a third of the package. It's enough for 3 people. So, and I'm gonna chop them up really fine, because then it nicely spreads out over the whole salad. So, then I'm gonna add the whole bag of salad. This one is with beetroot, but it really doesn't matter what type of salad you use. Maybe you got some fresh ones, which works really well as well. I like my salads with some pumpkin seeds as well. So there are some really healthy stuff in pumpkin seeds, healthy fats, loads of fiber, and roughly add like a tablespoon for it, just to give some extra flavor. So. And then I'm going to make my dressing. So I'm going to use half of a lemon, and I'm going to squeeze that out in the salad. So, and a little bit of olive oil. Once again, you are in control on how much oil you're going to use. So I'm going to use like roughly 2 teaspoons. Now we'll be mixing this up. It's already looking quite colorful. So you can see like the pieces of beetroot, the cucumber, tomatoes, feta. It's looking quite colorful. So if you give like a generous portion, like 2 big handfuls per portion, you will roughly have a portion of vegetables like that. With your egg muffins, you will have like another portion of vegetables. So you already got 3. And then maybe tonight you're making dinner with some vegetables, or with lentils, dal, beans and pulses. They count towards your 5 a day as well. So then you already yeah, got 5 portions, which is plenty. And maybe you also like fruit. So like a piece of apple, like a whole apple, a small banana, a handful of blueberries. That counts towards your 5 a day as well. So ideally, with 5 a day, you would have 3 portions of vegetables and 2 portions of fruit. So you get like all the healthy nutrients on a daily basis. So I will be showing how the egg muffins would look like when they are finished. I secretly already made them yesterday to give you an example on how they look like. Obviously, I did not forget the cheese yesterday. So they look like this. We'll put them on a plate first. So this is how roughly the egg muffin would look like. So 3 muffins per person, and you can add some vegetables with it. Once again, you can add some chapati or pita bread to add some carbohydrates. So I'm going to add a generous portion of vegetables in here as well. So. And then you got a really nice lunch altogether. So once your muffins are done, let them cool down first. They're really hot when they come down. So give them 10-15 minutes. You can eat them straight away. Or if you want to keep them for the next day, like for breakfast or lunch, make sure they are in the fridge within 90 minutes or within 1.5 hours. So they're not outside the fridge for too long. And eat them within 2 days, just to make sure that they don't go out of date. And if you're traveling with them, make sure that they are in a sealed container and in a cooled bag as well, because it's still eggs at the end of the day. So thank you very much for watching the Second Life workshop. Next week, we will be doing snacks and beverages. So if you want to cook along with me live, keep an eye out on the Facebook page of the YCA Sandwell. And hopefully I will see you next week. Oh yeah, and if you got any questions, you can put them in here on the channel, YouTube, but you can also Facebook me. You can send me an email on myhealthtarget.co.uk. There's also Instagram and Facebook called My Health Target, so you can get in touch with me as well if you got any other questions. So thank you very much and enjoy your lunch.